Hi everyone, this is Anisa, and I'm a hypnotherapist and holistic healing practitioner specializing in transformations to take you from toxic relationship patterns to divine relationships. So, I'm just doing a video today on why do people stay in toxic relationships. So, for many people stuck in them and for people outside, this can look really complex and can be a bit hard to understand. Now, the first thing that pops up and that is quite common across all the people that I've worked with that have come out of toxic relationships is that they have had childhood trauma. They've had trauma somewhere that has actually resulted in them creating this pattern of attracting toxic relationships and being absolutely blinded to the fact that they're in a toxic relationship. So, to go to the very, very, very root cause of this whole scenario and why people stay, it's because there's something that's happened to them in the past. And this thing has absolutely made them feel unaware that they're in a toxic relationship. So they end up staying and hoping for changes and hoping that things will improve. And of course, that is sadly not the reality in these toxic relationships. The second thing is they have some kind of attachment that's really hard to break. And this could be an energetic attachment. This could be physically things like having children or properties together or having having to work together. It could be real things that keep them stuck and they're not able to see a way out or a solution to make life work by breaking these certain attachments. So I know a lot of people who stay in toxic relationships and they actually try their best to deal with it and to cope with it and make arrangements just so they could have their children in the house with two parents, or if it's the toxic person is a mom or a dad or a sibling, it's just so they can attend family functions and not create drama. So they try to compromise and stay in these situations because they have these very real attachments that they need to nurture. The third thing is they're going through massive gaslighting and manipulation. So a lot of the times people in toxic relationships are being gaslit and manipulated. And gaslighting is when they're seeing something, but then another person who might be the abuser or other people are telling them something else. They're saying like, no, that's not abuse, or like, oh, that's normal, that happens in all relationships, or, do you think you might have done something to make that person behave in that way? Or that's not as bad as what you're saying, or even worse, that didn't happen, right? I know people who've been being gaslit to the point where they're told that did not happen and they feel like they're going crazy. And so they just think, okay, I'm going to drop it because I might be going crazy. And so this can't be toxic. It might just be in my head, right? And the next thing is manipulation. So this is where the person is being manipulated into thinking that this might be their fault or they did something that created this reaction. And so they're not understanding that they're in a toxic relationship. They're not seeing the problem that's actually truly happening. And number 4 is the inability to face the truth. Maybe they did get a hint. Maybe someone did point out that, hey, I think you're in a really toxic relationship. Maybe they stumbled on one of my videos, or another person who talks about toxic relationships and narcissism, and they're just in denial. They can't face the reality and the truth that they are in a toxic relationship, or that they're experiencing narcissism, or they're experiencing abuse. And it might be really hard for them to face the truth, because once we face the truth and we make a decision, maybe we make a decision to stay, we make a decision to leave, that's a very conscious decision, and that takes a fair amount of work. Whether you decide to leave or whether you decide to stay, completely your decision, it takes the same amount of energy. Changing or staying takes a lot of energy. Okay, so some people don't want to face the truth. They don't want to have to do anything about it. And it hurts, right? It hurts for some people to understand that they had this picture in their head of what, a parent's love is meant to be, or what a marriage is meant to be, or what, a family relative is meant to be, and then it's something really toxic. It's really hard for some people to face that reality and the truth. And the last thing is a lack of support. Now, this is huge for people that have grown up in families where there is a narcissistic parent or grandparent or whatever, or where they're married to a narcissist and they're trying to get support. They're trying to ask people to help them. But the problem is in these family units, there aren't ever just one, there's never just one narcissist. There's often this network because the behavior is enabled. The behavior is known, and the behavior is very much enabled and excused in these networks. So the person who's recognizing that, hey, something is wrong, and they want support and they want to speak out, they're often shut down. They're often shunned because no one wants to hear it, and people will cover it up and they'll say it's not happening, that person's not toxic, you're making it up. And so there is no support. There's a lack of support. And quite often what I hear is that people in these narcissistic relationships romantically, they might go to the person's parent or the other parent, and guess what? Their parent might be a narcissist or married to a narcissist, and they have perpetuated the cycle. So they're not going to think that what you're going through is bad. They're going to say this is normal. This is what a relationship is. And so that lack of support further drives a person to just stay in the relationship. They can't do anything. They have no support, and they feel like I must be going crazy. So there you have it, everyone. Those are 5 reasons why people stay in toxic relationships. And I'm sure I'll be adding to this list soon. If you have any that you have experienced or that you know that are big reasons why others stay in these relationships, then please drop a comment. And as always, you can reach me on Facebook Messenger, on WhatsApp, or an email if you want to get in touch. Sending you so much of love and blessings. Take care.